Today, we're diving into one of the most challenging, yet empowering topics in personal development: becoming the person you're afraid to be. We often hold ourselves back, not because we lack ability, but because we fear the changes that come with stepping into our true selves. Whether it's fear of judgment, fear of failure, or even fear of success, these fears can keep us stuck in a version of ourselves that's far from our potential. But what if you could overcome that fear? What if you could finally become the person you know you're meant to be? 1. Identifying your fear. Let's start by understanding the fear itself. What are you truly afraid of? Is it the fear of failure? Or perhaps it's the fear of what others might think? Many of us are conditioned to believe that stepping outside the box is dangerous, risky, or even selfish. But here's the truth: that fear is your mind's way of protecting you from the unknown. To overcome this, you need to identify what exactly you're afraid of. Is it fear of failure, fear of success, or fear of judgment? Write it down. By putting it on paper, you start to see it as a tangible thing rather than an abstract feeling. You begin to take control. 2. Acknowledge and accept. To acknowledge and accept. Once you've identified the fear, the next step is to acknowledge it. Don't try to suppress it or ignore it. Acknowledge that this fear exists and that it's okay to feel this way. Fear is a natural human emotion. But here's the thing: just because something is natural doesn't mean it has to control you. Acceptance is the key to overcoming. When you accept your fear, you take away its power. You start to see that it's not the fear itself that's holding you back, but the way you react to it. 3. Reframing the fear. Now that you've accepted your fear, it's time to reframe it. Instead of viewing your fear as a barrier, start seeing it as a guide. What is your fear telling you about yourself? Often the things we fear the most are the very things that are most important to our growth. If you're afraid of public speaking, for example, it might be because you know that speaking your truth is essential to who you are. Your fear is pointing you towards your potential. By reframing your fear in this way, you turn it into a powerful motivator instead of a hindrance. 4. Take small steps. One of the biggest reasons people never become who they're afraid to be is because they try to take giant leaps. They think they need to change everything all at once. But real transformation happens in small, consistent steps. Start with one small action that moves you closer to your true self. If you're afraid of starting a new business, take a small step like writing down your business idea. If you're afraid of being more authentic, start by sharing a small piece of your truth with someone you trust. These small steps will build your confidence and momentum over time. 5. Build a support system. You don't have to do this alone. Building a support system is crucial when you're trying to become the person you're afraid to be. Surround yourself with people who believe in your potential, who challenge you to grow, and who support you when things get tough. This could be friends, family, mentors, or even online communities. The key is to find people who understand your journey and can offer both encouragement and accountability. When you have a strong support system, you're less likely to give in to your fears. 6. Embrace vulnerability. Becoming who you're afraid to be requires a certain level of vulnerability. You have to be willing to put yourself out there, to risk failure, and to face criticism. But vulnerability is not a weakness, it's a strength. It's the willingness to show up and be seen, even when there are no guarantees. When you embrace vulnerability, you open yourself up to new possibilities. You start to see that failure isn't the end, but a stepping stone to success. You begin to trust yourself and your ability to handle whatever comes your way. 7. Commit to growth. The journey to becoming who you're afraid to be is ongoing. It's not something that happens overnight. It requires a commitment to growth, to constantly pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, and to never settling for less than what you're capable of. This commitment is what will keep you moving forward, even when the road gets tough. It's about adopting a growth mindset, where you see challenges as opportunities for learning and development. When you commit to growth, You stop seeing fear as a barrier and start seeing it as a necessary part of your journey. 8. Visualize your future self. Visualization is a powerful tool in personal development. Take some time to visualize the person you want to become. See yourself living the life you're afraid to pursue. Imagine the confidence, the fulfillment, and the happiness that comes with being your true self. Visualization helps you create a mental picture of your future, which makes it easier to work towards it. It also helps to combat fear by showing your mind that this new version of yourself is not something to be afraid of, but something to look forward to. 9. Face your fear head-on. At some point, you'll need to face your fear head-on. This means doing the very thing you're afraid to do. It's not about eliminating fear, but about taking action in spite of it. This could be having a difficult conversation, starting that project you've been putting off, or finally stepping into a role that challenges you. Whatever it is, facing your fear is the ultimate test of your commitment to becoming who you're afraid to be. And here's the thing, once you face your fear, you'll realize it wasn't as scary as you thought. You'll start to build confidence in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. 10. Reflect and adjust. Finally, it's important to reflect on your journey and make adjustments as needed. Becoming who you're afraid to be is not a linear process. There will be setbacks, challenges, and moments of doubt, but these are all part of the journey. Take time to reflect on your progress, celebrate your wins, and learn from your mistakes. Adjust your approach if necessary, but never give up. The person you're afraid to be is already within you. It's just a matter of bringing that person to the surface. Becoming who you're afraid to be is one of the most challenging yet rewarding journeys you can embark on. It requires courage, commitment, and a willingness to embrace the unknown. But the reward is worth it, a life that is truly your own, where you are living in alignment with your true self. So take the first step today. Identify your fear, acknowledge it, and start taking small actions towards becoming the person you're meant to be. Your future self will thank you for it.